Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to be making a card using some of the goodies that I received from Uniquely Creative, which is an Australian company, and they happen to be at NAMTA in New Orleans. This is the first time that they were able to come to the States, and I'm so excited for them, and in honor of that, I needed to make a video using some of their products on a card. So you can take a look in my description box and see the unboxing that I had done, as well as a video on making a scrapbooking page with some of their products. But today we're going to make a card. So I'm really inspired by this paper. Let me move these off to the side for a second. This is from the Industrial Edge collection, again from Uniquely Creative. This one is called Slate and Steel, and these cardstocks are all double-sided. But we're going to be using this side. And before I started filming, I'm like, oh, I think that this is really cool. There's not a ton going on. It's not a super busy pattern, but there's enough happening where there's a lot of interest. So I thought right away, I used this little piece of cardboard that I cut out the window to be 4 by 5 1/4 so that I can isolate different areas of paper, pattern paper, gel press prints, etc., so that I can determine where I want to cut things. But I gotta say, this corner is it. We're going to use this because, again, there's stuff happening, but it's not super busy where it's going to detract from whatever else we do, which I haven't really planned yet. But I do have a lot of their products off to the side that we can play with. And again, I'm going to use their scissors. These are the Uniquely Creative scissors. These are great. These were in the new product showcase at NAMTA, which is very exciting. And then I have these metal classic card making words. They make layered it's saying titles here, but they can totally be used for a card, of course. And although the styles are very different, like this is, of course, super industrial, and this is scripty and pretty, we're going to make it work. We might not use a shadow layer, I'm not sure yet, but we're going to make it work somehow. I promise. So let's get started. I'm going to begin by cutting this piece down. Let me get my paper trimmer. This is a big paper trimmer because this is a 12 by 12 piece of paper. And it might be a little off screen, I apologize, but I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. I know you really can't see it, I'm sorry, it's just the way my camera rig is. I can't really move the paper up more for you to see. All right, we got that piece cut. I'm going to move this off to the side, get rid of my paper trimmer, and now we have the beginnings of our card. I think that we're going to start off with the Jazzy stencil. I really like this one. It's super cool. And I grabbed some grit paste in Crypt from Ranger and Tim Holtz, and we're going to apply some of that through this stencil. I really like the grit paste. This Crypt is really cool, and it's perfectly grungy, and I think it's going to work really well on here. Okay. I've got press and seal on top to keep it from drying out. And my son has already dipped into this. He really loves this grit paste. He thinks it's super cool. I'm just going to use my palette knife to apply some here and there. I'm not going to make it perfect. A lot of times I go through like the process of getting like perfectly smooth paste and whatnot from your stencils, but that's not what we're necessarily going for this time. I don't need it to be perfect because it's going to be grungy and cool and just kind of haphazard. I think we need a little bit in the middle. What do you think? I think so. Just going to try not to get it where I've already got wet paste. I'm not really planning this out. I'm just kind of playing and having a good time with it, which is my favorite way to work. Clean off the excess, and I'm going to put my press and seal, push it in, make sure you get that air out, and then close this up. If you haven't seen press and seal, this is it. It's used for food, but it's a great crafting product. You can actually get this if you don't like if you're not in the States, you can get it through Simon and have it come with your order of the rest of your crafty products. I'm not sure about any other online shops that have it, but I know that Simon does. So I'm going to put this in water with this so that the paste does not dry on my stencil. So this is pretty dry at this point, but we're going to be adding some more wet medium to it, so it doesn't need to be perfectly dry. You'll notice that the black specks in this area are much bigger than in the other areas, and that's because I was using my heat tool and it started to bubble, but I actually really like it. I think it looks cool. So that's why this area looks different from the rest, because it only was bubbling here. So, but I'm fine with it. Doesn't matter. So I'm gonna move my scissors. I grabbed Distress Spray Stain in Crackling, Campfire, and Lumberjack Plaid because the embellishment kit from the embellishment pack, the creative cuts from Uniquely Creative have some red tones, red orangey tones like brick, rust, that kind of thing. And I don't know if we're going to be using any of these, but I thought, why not make it coordinate just in case we do? So very simply, I'm going to just create some splatters on here. I'm not going to go nuts. I'm probably not going to spray it. I think it'll be fine if I just add some splatters. Maybe mist it with some water to get it to run a bit, but I don't think that I want the color to be so heavy that I spray it directly. I think that some water will be enough. If I spray it directly, I think it's going to take over the card a little too much, and that's not really what I want. So now I'm coming in with just some water, and we're just going to make that color move a little bit. I don't want to go too heavy with the water either because this is not watercolor paper. But we just want it to move around a little bit. Let me grab a brush and just kind of help my cause here. I've got some water. See, that's curling up, which is okay because I can just use my heat gun and flatten it out. I'm just kind of spreading out these bits here, getting like a wash of color instead of like very concentrated color, which is what I want. How's that? I think that's all right. Let's dry it down and see what happens. I'm going to do that off screen. I feel like I really need some aged mahogany, which I don't have in a spray. So I've got my mini ink cube here, and we're going to just smush it onto my glass mat. Got my brush, and I'm just going to apply it this way. Adding a little bit of color, but not quite enough. I think I might just go around the edges with it. I think that'll work out better. Yeah. See that? That's better. I don't have to necessarily do the whole perimeter, but I think getting the corners is definitely an improvement over not having it done. What do we think, folks? I think that's getting there. All right. Gonna wipe this up and let this dry, and then we'll move on. Okay, I dumped out a bunch of the ephemera, and I also die cut the best wishes out of black cardstock and like an ivory colored cardstock. There's a little bit of schmutz on here from whatever was left on my die cutting plates, but that's okay because we're going to do something to this too, because obviously this is way too stark for the rest of this card. So we'll worry about that later, but I think that this is the way to go on here. It definitely needs to be broken up a bit, but we're going to play with this ephemera. Look at these. These are so cool. I love them. We're probably going to use the edge distressing tool on here as well and kind of fray up those edges a bit and make them look really cool. This might be a little bit big. Let's grab some more. I just grabbed a few things out, not everything, because there's so many things. kind of like this. Ooh, there's a couple here. It's kind of neat. This might be fun. See, with this type of card design or card style, you just kind of play. You see what works, you see what doesn't, and you know, if you like this circle but you don't necessarily want the 4, put something on top of it or flip it over and use the back side. But I'm kind of liking what we have going here. Might not need that. That might be enough. I don't know. Now, of course, we've hidden this, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We're playing, not planning, and if something gets hidden, it's all right. You can also change the orientation if you want to, but I really think that I prefer doing this on the vertical. I feel like we need maybe one more thing. Do we like this? I don't know. I think I'm happy with this. I think that we're going to work on this shadow layer and kind of dull it down a bit and then move on from there. So I've got antique linen, distress ink. We'll start with that because that's always a good way to dull things down. And I'm just going to go directly to the die cut and just kind of rub it around. I'm avoiding the center a bit, just to make it stand out a bit. There we go. I think that's good. We don't even really need to do anything else. We could splatter, but I don't think it's necessary. So this is where we're at. I'm going to rough these edges up. So we've got the edge distresser, and you just grab it and pull. There's a blade. See that blade there? That's what's doing the cutting. But your hands and fingers and everything is totally protected. You can't get cut. And it's just a fun little product. See how quick that is? Makes a little bit of a mess. My friend Kelly said that she does something with these little bits. I don't know if she mixes them into paint or paste. I'm gonna have to find out, and then we might have to try that another day. But she had mentioned in one of the comments that she left in one of my past videos where I used this tool that she saves them. So she'll have to give me some more information about that, won't you, Kelly? Okay. See, it just tears it up. And you can keep going if you want to, and you can get, like, you know, the corners nicked out, and you can push it in and really make a mess of these edges. But it's up to you how much you want to do. I like it. Okay, first thing, we're going to add some adhesive to this. Kelly, don't look. I'm throwing this away. When you teach me what to do with that stuff, we'll keep it. Okay, got some Barely Arts glue here. And we're going to adhere this down so that I don't have to keep fiddling with the pieces and trying to keep it in place. Just easier since we know that this is what we're going to be using together. Just glue it down. If we were unsure if we were going to add more color or whatever, then... Oh, sorry guys, I just had like this crazy coughing fit. If you didn't know if you were going to add more color or anything, then you'd wait. But since we're not doing that, we're going to just apply it. And honestly, if I wanted to add like splatter or something on top of this, it wouldn't be a problem because the word itself is black and it wouldn't show. Unless I did something with like some mica in it or whatever. Anyway, sorry about my voice, you guys. I'm kind of dealing with a little bit of a cold, so it's making me sound a little funny. We need to distress this edge a little bit more. That's better. All right. I think that what I might do, instead of trying to get these pieces onto this semi-warped piece of cardstock, I think I'm going to attach this to my base and then work on adding these layers because it'll make things a little bit easier. Plus, I have dots and stripes foam mounts from Uniquely Creative that we can use to pop some of this up. So let me grab a card base and we'll get that going. Okay, this is an ivory card base because I didn't really want to use stark white. And of course, I can't leave the edges like this. We are going to add some more antique linen to this, and then we can start gluing some layers down. So again, I'm just going to go directly from the pad so that we have a nice variation of color, some texture because the pad is a felt pad, so it automatically leaves a cool texture. If you go lighter in some areas, check that out. You can see the texture here. Isn't that nice? I like it. Okay. Working my way around, making quick work of this. I prefer using this over using this technique instead of a blending brush. I mean, I do use blending brushes a lot when I'm working on my card bases, but I love the grungy look when you go directly to paper. Okay. Is that enough? Yep, that's enough. All right, so now we're going to apply some adhesive to the back of this. Remember, these are all double-sided pieces of cardstock. The patterns are fantastic on each side. I mean, this looks so realistic, especially when you see the whole piece of paper, the whole 12 by 12 piece. Oh, they're so cool. It's very hard to cover some of them up. Okay, and that will just help to flatten everything out so that we have an easier time adhering our other layers. All right, we've got this, we've got this, and we've got this. This we're going to lay flat down on there. And you could ink the edges that we roughed up too, but I don't really want to. I kind of like that little bit of brightness showing there. Okay, and now we're going to use our foam mounts. I have not used these before. I'm excited to try them. If I can get them out of the package, there we go. So they're not, the profile is not super high, which is great because I'm going to want this up a little bit and this higher, so we can just stack them. They come off of the release paper really easily, which is great. Removing the other side of the release paper here. Okay. Might need to add a little bit more glue here because we've got a lot of texture below, and also since the edges are roughed up. Okay, so now I'm going to want to add one layer here and 2 layers here. So 1 layer here, because we're going to have it overlapping, and then 2 layers everywhere else. They're a good size, like that. Should probably remove the release paper, right, from that bottom layer. I don't think it'll matter too much, but just in case. This is coming together really quickly, which I like. I'm gonna need some over here. I think we'll use the strip for that. And what we can do is just fold this in half, like so. Let me grab my scissors. And now we have a doubled strip. I'm gonna remove the release paper from the entire thing. And then we can determine where we want that to go. I'm going to put a little piece here. And then, is that too big? Should be okay. There we go. And now we can remove the rest of the release paper. Yeah, see, I need to remove the paper from this. Okay, so if you're going to stack them, make sure that you remove that paper. I did do that with the other one, so we should be okay. Take that off. What do you guys think of this? This is fast. Usually cards like this take me a while, but because these pieces work so well together and the sizes are so nice, like it's just coming together quickly. I feel like we need a little something extra. I have an idea. I've got the satin black mix of card bling from Colorful Life Designs, and I put it in my little skull tray here from Twiddler's Nook, and we're going to figure out where to put some blingage, except this is not shiny, right? It's a satin matte, so it's gonna look cool and cohesive with everything else, but it's gonna stand out. We're gonna tuck some of these guys in, I think. I really like that look. I think I want a big one back here. Yeah, that's better. And the nice thing is that we can tuck it in easily. We don't have to cut the sequins down to get it to fit. Just kind of getting them on here. I'll arrange them a little bit better in a minute. Maybe. There we go. Another one here. I honestly don't even care about the rules of 3 with this. Usually I do 3 at a time, but I feel like it doesn't matter because it's grungy. Oops. What do we think? I think that that's okay. I might add another couple, but I'm going to get this started. So let me put this here. I'm going to zoom in for you just a touch. There we go. Let me get I have On Point glue. This is the glue that I prefer to use when I'm attaching sequins. It's from Imagine. And the way I like to do this is I hold my jewel picker here, my pokey tool here, and then the adhesive. Pick it up with the jewel picker, squeeze if it feels like coming out, and then put it down with the pokey tool. Now keep in mind, we've got this texture from the grit paste, so I'm trying to avoid sticking it directly on any of those triangles, just so that it lays nice and flat on the card itself. But by using the 3 tools all at once, the glue, the pokey tool, and the jewel picker, it makes for quick work. And things don't usually get stuck. And sometimes it can be hard to get it off of the pokey tool or the jewel picker or whatever, but with this it usually happens pretty easily because we're using 2 tools. What do we think? I think we need something over here. I love that there are different sizes in all of the card bling packs, because I don't really like to use the same size across a whole card. So having that is really nice. I think this looks so cool. We've got our sequins going at a diagonal, so it's bringing our eye through the card. I think it looks great. Let me bring it close up to you. I'm just going to close my glue. Guys, I think we've got a finished card. Move this off to the side. I think this looks great. Super cool. and it wasn't hard. Yeah, I'm loving this. So thank you again to Uniquely Creative for sending me all of these fantastic goodies. I love them. I'm going to continue to use them all the time. And yeah, so all right, guys, that's it for me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say, but no, we're done here. All right, guys, I'll see you all very, very soon. Be well, stay safe. Peace out.